Hi, this is Joe at Joe's Test Studio. Welcome back to Joe's Test Studio. I have people tell me all the time that they're really good at making mud in watercolor. Well, I'm going to show you how to prevent mud. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about what causes mud. I have mixed up on my palette here, I call it activated when I add water and get these nice colors. This is New Gamboge. This is Halloween Orange, Lucky Penny, Red Rose Deep, which is really a quinacridone red, a gorgeous color, and Cobalt Blue. Now when I mix these up, I go to the color, add a little water, and I do like this to activate them. Then I take my finger and my thumb and I give it this. And that saves all of that color in there. And I guess I'm just cheap, but I don't like wasting too much color. Then I clean the brush, and I'm going to come over here and pick up some of this Halloween Orange. Just pick it up. Now it's already mixed a little bit with New Gamboge, which doesn't hurt anything. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit of that Cobalt Blue, and I'm going to come to my paper and put it down. And don't mess with it. Look at that. Isn't that a pretty color? Kind of a greenish orange color. Maybe a little more, maybe I could put a little more blue in it and see what happens. A little more blue over on this edge. You see, the less I mix it on in the palette, the prettier it is when I put it on the paper. Let's pick up some of this Lucky Penny right here that I have that quinacridone burnt orange and some of that cobalt and see what happens. Wow. Isn't that a pretty color? Now I like that. Goodness, that's rich, isn't it? Let's pick up a little bit of the lighter orange while I've got all that already in there and see what it does. Well, that's a very pretty color too. See, very little mixing on the palette, mostly mixing on the paper. I'm going to pick up some more Cobalt Blue and some of that Red Rose Deep, and let's see what we get with that. This is rough paper, by the way. Artistico Fabriano's 300-pound rough paper, and it has that nice texture in it. Isn't that a pretty color? Just about any two colors you pick up and put on the paper like this are going to be pretty colors, especially if you let them mix here. Let's add some of this Cobalt Blue now while these are still wet. Let's add a little Cobalt Blue down in here. And look, it still stays clean. It's going to be a nice little greeting card right there when we finish with it. We'll do the same thing down here. Come right across the bottom and all the way up into this area. Have the upper third of it be the sky area up there maybe. Isn't that pretty? Colors stay clean, stay rich. Now watch what happens when I take the same colors. I'll take some of that red and yellow, a little bit of the red back here, and the cobalt, and stir it on the palette. And stir, stir, stir. And I think of this as the Wicked Witch of the West, because the more she stirred her brew, I guess the more poisonous it became. Same way with watercolor. Now, it's not a bad color, but it certainly doesn't have the feeling, the life to it that it does if you let it mix on the paper. And that's where we get mud from. Mud isn't really mud, of course, but we think of it as not a very pretty color. And it comes from just too much stirring on the palette. Here's a violet made the same way I made that one. Again, it's not a bad color. It's just not near as pretty as this is going to be when they're dry. So, the more you let the color mix in the brush and on the paper, the less mud you have. Also, you can always mix any two colors together and not get mud. You add the third and you almost always get mud. So, happy painting, little mud.